Hello and welcome to I-24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from the world of sports. And there's plenty of action coming your way. A Tunisian tennis player quits in the middle of a match, keeping him from playing against an Israeli in the next round. Things look grim for Borussia Dortmund after another loss. Controversy in the African Cup of Nations as Equatorial Guinea prepares for its semi-final game. And the Patriots finally get to celebrate their Super Bowl win with their fans. All that and much more, so let's get going. We begin in Montpellier, where Tunisian tennis player Malek Jaziri quit after winning his first set against six-seeded Denis Istomin, citing an injury, but which would keep him from facing an Israeli Dudisela in the next round. Jaziri called for a trainer twice during the match, but the ATP says it is looking into the circumstances of his withdrawal, since this isn't the first time Jaziri withdrew rather than face an Israeli. In 2013, Tunisia's Tennis Federation ordered him to withdraw from a tournament in Uzbekistan so he won't play against Israel's Amir Weintraub. And moving to football, Liverpool and Bolton faced off in a replay in the fourth round of the FA Cup. In the second half, Bolton's Zach Clow was making a run inside the box when Martin Skirtle made a shaky tackle, and the ref was quick to point to the penalty spot. Egil Gudensson then hit the penalty with his right foot to beat the keeper and gave his side a 1-0 lead. Things were looking good for Bolton until Neil Duns put his team in trouble in the 66th minute when he received a second yellow after committing another dangerous foul. Liverpool will finally get their break when Raheem Sterling hit a left-footed shot low through the middle from the penalty area, and just minutes later, Philippe Coutinho scored to give the Reds the 2-1 victory. And next to German football, bottom of the table Dortmund faced off against Augsburg last night. The two sides stood for a moment of reflection on the life of the great coach and technician Udo Lattek, who died on Sunday. Augsburg came back after the half on the attack, and Raoul Boudabia took a left-footed shot from the center of the box to beat the keeper. He then celebrated in his own way, showing off his tattoo, but the Dortmund manager didn't look nearly as happy about that goal. While the yellow and black went on a counterattack, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was taken down by Christoph Jankel, who was shown the red. But it wouldn't be enough for Dortmund as they went down 1-0 to Augsburg. And heading to African football, the Ivory Coast reached the final of the African Cup of Nations after a 3-1 victory against the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And look at the joyful fans celebrating their nation. The Ivory Coast have not won the competition since 1992 and are looking to bring the trophy back home after losing their last two attempts at doing so. But they'll have to wait until tonight to find out who they'll be playing in the championship game, which will take place on Sunday. And that game will feature the winner of tonight's matchup between Equatorial Guinea and Ghana to face the Ivory Coast for the title. But for little Equatorial Guinea, it hasn't been an easy journey to get to this game. Here's a look at tonight's matchup.
It's a first for Equatorial Guinea. Never before has the country made it to the semi-finals of the Africa Cup of Nations. Quite a feat for a team that didn't even qualify, and a tournament that's seen powerhouses like Cameroon and Algeria go home. They're only taking part because Equatorial Guinea stepped in as hosts at the last minute after Morocco pulled out. Just 11 days before kickoff, the team was still looking for a coach.
We have a new and young team that play in the second and third divisions in Spain, and some in the first, but the other teams have players from some of the top European leagues. And that's why Equatorial Guinea is such a surprise.
Their presence at this stage is nothing short of a miracle, but one that's tainted with controversy. In the quarter-finals, Equatorial Guinea beat Tunisia, a team 96 places higher in the FIFA rankings, thanks to a highly dubious penalty that allowed them to equalise in the dying minutes of play. Their next opponent, Ghana, has been warned.
We hope that everything will go well, whether with the referees or anything else. No worries, we just want to play this match. We want to make it to the final. That's all that's important.
Favoured or not, Equatorial Guinea now has its sights on Ghana in Thursday's semi-final. The whole country will be behind captain Javier Balboa and his teammates, willing the team onto their first final.
And as Equatorial Guinea will face Ghana, Tunisia is still angry about their game against the small African country, which ended with a suspended ref, a fine, and pissed off fans in a saga that's still continuing. Lise Barenbaum and Michael Friedman report.
After the quarterfinal match between Tunisia and the host nation, Equatorial Guinea, in the African Cup of Nations, the African Football Confederation did not take long to get involved over the controversy by referee Si Chern Rajin Japassard and suspended him for 6 months.
It's not the end of the world for Tunisian football, but I think we have to do big criticism of African football because it's a shame to have a referee like that at such a level.
The referee had awarded a questionable penalty to Equatorial Guinea in stoppage time, a move that allowed the host country, who was behind in the game, to equalize and extend the match. At the very end of extra time, he also blew the whistle to end the match before the full injury time finished, something the coach of Tunisia immediately challenged.
He made a big mistake, the referee, a big mistake. I'm still wiser now to say that I congratulate Guinea. But you saw me. It's hard to accept certain things in life.
The referee was then accompanied by security forces off the field. Tunisian fans followed him into the access tunnel to the locker room. The arguable elimination of the Tunisian team has caused dismay by the fans and Tunisian Federation.
This is theft. This is a robbery because there was a penalty, and there was no penalty. They had a free kick, there was no kick. It has two purposes, so here it goes.
After the match, the Tunisian fans were very upset. There were about 10 assaults towards the sub-Saharan people in Tunis and Sfax, but also on social media. The president of the Tunisian Federation, Wadi Jari, subsequently resigned from the organizing committee of the African Cup of Nations in protest. The African Federation have even been accused of being impartial from players and gave until February 5th to see the Tunisian Federation apologize. The Tunisian organization has already been fined $50,000. If the Federation refuses to apologize, they will also be excluded from the next African Cup of Nations in 2017.
And from football to the hardwood, Toronto having an amazing season hosting the Brooklyn Nets. They enjoyed a small lead in the first quarter, and Terrence Ross adds to it with a triple from the corner. They'll lead 24-17. Into the second, three-point game, Bogdanovic in the paint gives it up to Corey Jefferson for the sweet one-handed throwdown over Patrick Patterson. 3 seconds on the shot clock for the Raptors. DeMar DeRozan to Kyle Lowry and knocks down the triple. Into the third, Toronto trailing. Half-court lob to Terrence Ross for the wide-open but impressive alley-oop. Brooklyn won't look back. Fourth quarter, Darren Williams drops it off to Allen Anderson for the dunk. The Nets now making it look easy. They'll even hit this deep three. Watch it. They'll win it on the road 109-93. And a day after it was originally scheduled, the New England Patriots victory parade finally made its way through the snowy streets of Boston yesterday. Thousands of fans braved the cold, some negative 14 degrees Celsius in the morning, to catch a glimpse of Super Bowl MVP Tom Brady and their Super Bowl heroes. The Patriots emerged victorious against the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday night after an exciting and dramatic last minute of the game. And that Super Bowl MVP Tom Brady gives away his prize truck. Champions of LA, the Kings and the Galaxy meet with U.S. President Barack Obama, and Andy Murray's girlfriend is caught cursing. Needless to say, it's been a busy week for sports media, and Michael Friedman has the best of it in this week's press review.
We begin this week's press review with the biggest story in America. The Boston Globe headlines read, Patriots rally to beat Seahawks in Super Bowl. With 160 million viewers around the world, the game left everyone talking about the amazing play by Malcolm Butler in which he saved the day for his Pats. So how did Tom Brady, the Super Bowl MVP, return the favor to his safety? By giving him a brand new Chevy Colorado truck he won as a token of appreciation. Along with the exciting game, the halftime show proved to be truly special. Katy Perry was joined by Lenny Kravitz and a throwback with Missy Elliott. Take a look. Staying in the United States, USA Today headlines read, Obama praises LA sports teams to The two California sides were well received by Barack Obama after claiming their respective championships. There was a feeling of deja vu as they were both champions 2 years ago and joined by the president. The LA Galaxy did not come empty-handed as they gave him a Barack jersey. The leader of the free world is known for being a Chicago fan, which made it hard for him to see his favorite hockey team not win. Take a listen.
In the conference final, they beat my Blackhawks, which is unfortunate. I mean, first of all, in LA, there's not even any ice, really. So you'd think like Chicago, where it's probably 10 degrees below zero today, at least we'd get some hockey. But we've won a couple, so I can't complain.
And lastly, we finished with some inappropriate language coming from Andy Murray's girlfriend. The Telegraph headlines read, Kim Sears gets a potty mouth from her mom. Sears was seen insulting her lover's opponent, Thomas Berdych, in the semifinals, and despite the critics, she came to the finals with an explicit t-shirt, only to be disappointed with her boyfriend's loss to Djokovic. Who knows what she'll wear and say when Murray steps on the court next? Well, that's all for this week's press review.
Klitschko versus Jennings. The fight is scheduled for late April, but the two boxers were in New York City on Wednesday to promote their matchup. It will be Vladimir Klitschko's first fight on American soil in 8 years, and what a better place to have it than the world's most famous arena. He'll be making his 18th defense, third only to Joe Louis and Larry Holmes among heavyweights, while Jennings earned his shot at the championship with wins over unbeaten Artur Spikulka and Mike Perez last year. 38-year-old Klitschko seems happy to be back in New York and ready for April.
Good day, New York. It's so great to be back here. It's so great. It feels like first time. Where were you 15 years ago? I was here fighting.
He's undefeated. He has around 20 fights, and he doesn't have fear. I could feel it. I could tell it. He doesn't have fear. He's gonna go off and throw punches, and will try to knock the champion out. So I think that's why this fight is going to be challenging for me, but exciting for the audience.
And Lance Armstrong is in the news again. Things seem to keep going downhill for the former Tour de France champion as he once again finds himself in the headlines for something negative. News Baum, Michael Friedman have more.
My name is Lance Armstrong.
For Lance Armstrong, it is not only about the bike. Other modes of transportation have also landed the former cycling icon into trouble and further damaged his reputation, or what's left of it. Armstrong struck 2 cars at a bus stop last December, an offense for which his wife took the blame for a while, but then the police found out the truth. As in the past, Armstrong was caught in a lie.
You know, he was an immensely intimidating person. And he was held by such high regard and such an icon in the sport. And when someone's in that position, you know, if they look cross-eyed at you, you know, you're worried about it.
The former athlete claims to have done this in order to protect his family. Armstrong has been in the headlines for years and wanted to spare his family from more humiliation. But he was identified thanks to a video surveillance tape which showed clearly that he had been sitting in the driver's seat. Another scandal after the cyclist participated in a very controversial clip by the Future User Band, which shows him insulting a skateboarder trying to inject steroids.
Step the fuck off, Lance.
Since 2012, Armstrong has been banned for life from any cycling activity due to doping. And he now faces up to 90 days in jail and a $300 fine for the false declaration of the accident. This story is another lie which reminds us all of his reputation of cheating in cycling between 1999 and 2005. He revealed to Oprah Winfrey that he was taking performance enhancement drugs throughout his career. After he was convicted, he was stripped of all his titles and trophies.
Oprah, Lance Armstrong.
Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
Yes or no? Was one of those banned substances EPO?
Yes.
Following these revelations, the cyclist has declared that anyway. He adopted the FU attitude, a way to show that he does not value the comments. But for his interviewer, he always demonstrates sincerity.
I would say there were a couple of times where he was emotional, but emotional doesn't begin to describe the intensity or the difficulty that I think that he experienced in in talking about some of these things.
The former American hero may no longer be the world cycling champion, but he certainly has what they call a gift for fiction.
It's a race to the top, and it takes 1,576 steps in the 38th annual Empire State Run-Up. Around 200 runners took part in the event, but the spotlight was on Susie Walsham, who won the women's competition for the record 6th time at 12 minutes and 30 seconds. And in the men's race, Germany's Christian Riddle emerged victorious for the first time in 6 tries. This year's event attracted runners from all over the world, including Canada, France, Germany, Norway, and the United States. And that's it for us for today. Don't forget, you can watch us anytime on our website, i24news.tv, and you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter, i24news in English. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful day.